Good morning. I am Vijay Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department from Thandai Periyar Government Institute of Technology, Vellore. So today we are going to see a lecture on constant mesh gearbox and synchro mesh gearbox. So we all know that in sliding mesh gearbox, spur gears were used, and those spur gears, since they had point contact, they were frequently subjected to wear and failure resulted. And moreover, meshing of gears at high speed resulted in damage of the gear teeth. To overcome these drawbacks of the spur gear, constant mesh gearbox was brought into use. In constant mesh gearbox, we use helical gears which are in constant mesh. So here you can see the pairs of helical gears. These gears are always in mesh. These gears are mounted on the transmission shaft either on bushes or in bearings. So they are free to rotate on the transmission shaft. So that means when the gear rotates, it does not necessarily rotate the transmission shaft. So how to rotate the transmission shaft? So if the transmission shaft, the splined transmission shaft has to rotate, then that is being made possible with the use of the dog clutch. So when the dog clutch is engaged, then the transmission shaft will rotate along with the dog clutch. So dog clutches play a very vital role in constant mesh gearbox. So let us first see how the dog clutch work. So here you can see the exploded view of the dog clutch. So a dog clutch consists of dog teeth and a collar, and similarly all the gears have dog teeth on the periphery of the wheel or the extended gear surface. You have dog teeth. So what happens is, first these two dog teeth are brought into contact and they are mated. So once these dog teeth mate, the collar is slit along the mating gear teeth, dog teeth. So now the dog teeth is also connected to the transmission shaft. So whichever gear is connected to the dog teeth, that at that particular ratio, the dog teeth will rotate as well as the transmission shaft will be rotating. So this is how the dog teeth works. So first the dog teeth of the dog clutch and the gear wheel brought into contact, and then the collar is slided. Once the collar is slid into the place, it couples the dog clutch with the transmission shaft, causing it to rotate. So the number of the dog clutches depends upon the number of gear ratios that are desired. So you can see, so this is the position for a neutral. Here none of the dog teeth are or dog clutches are engaged. So both the dog clutches are in the neutral, and the power from the clutch gear directly goes to the counter shaft. Since no dog clutch is engaged, the transmission line do not rotate. So for the first gear, so when you want the first gear, the first and the second gear dog clutch is slid. This is just slide. We slide it to the left. So this causes this pair of gears to be engaged. So the power flows from the clutch gear to the counter shaft through these pair of mated gears, and since this dog clutch is engaged through the dog clutch, it is being transmitted to the main shaft and the power is carried on further. For the second gear, the same dog clutch is moved towards the right. Now you can see from the clutch gear to the lay shaft, you can see this pair of gears are engaged. So this pair of gears are engaged. Through the dog teeth, the power is transmitted to the main shaft. So here you can see the shaft, the gear in the lay shaft is small, whereas the gear in the main shaft is very big. So there will be a larger reduction in speed and multiplication of torque. And for the second gear, well, comparing with that of the first gear, you can see the gear on the lay shaft is slightly larger and the gear on the main shaft is slightly smaller. So again you get a reduced speed, but the rate of reduction is less when compared to that of the first gear. Next you can see the third gear. So for the third gear, you are using the second dog clutch, that is the third and fourth gear dog clutch. So when this is moved to the left, you can see power from the clutch gear moves to the counter shaft, then to the through the mating gears through the dog clutch to the transmission shaft. So now if we want the fourth gear, what we do is we directly couple the dog clutch to the clutch gear. So power directly flows from the clutch shaft to the transmission shaft. So how do we attain reverse gears? So to obtain reverse gear, what we do is both the dog clutches are in the neutral position and the reverse gears located at the end of the shaft are being engaged. These reverse gears are generally spur gears and not helical gears. As usual, you have a reverse idler gear which helps in changing the direction. So when the reverse gear is engaged, you can see that the power flows from the clutch shaft to the reverse gear in the lay shaft, and you have the reverse idler gear here which helps in changing the direction, and from that to the reverse gear on the main shaft. Here again you can see this reverse gear on the lay shaft is small, and whereas the reverse gear on the main shaft is considerably bigger. So this again reduces the speed to a large extent. So reverse, while the vehicle is running in reverse, usually it runs at a very low speed. So the presence of the idler gear helps only in changing the direction of rotation. So this is the working of constant mesh gearbox. So what are the advantages of this gearbox is, since helical gears are used, the gearing is quieter, and even if damages occur, this damage occurs only to the dog teeth and the gear wheels are not damaged. So the disadvantage is, so here if we are engaging, the dog teeth are at different speed. So if you are engaging and by moving the collar, it may result in slight damages to the dog teeth. So this results in imperfect motion and noise in the long run. So to overcome this problem, the synchromesh gearbox was utilized where the dog clutch is being replaced by a synchronizing unit. So as the name suggests, by synchromesh, we make the mating dog teeth of the dog clutch or the synchronizing unit and the gear wheels dog teeth to rotate at the same speed, and then they are engaged. So this is the main principle behind the synchromesh gearbox. So this is the synchronizing unit. Here you can see the synchronizing unit. So here also you can see. So this is the collar or the sleeve which is slid over the engaged dog teeth. And here you can see the conical drum of the synchronizing unit, and this is the conical portion of the gear. So this is the gear. On the extended surface you have the conical portion, and you also have spring loaded balls. So first, when we want to change the gear, these two cones are brought into contact. So due to friction, these two cones tend to rotate at the same speed. So when they are rotating at the same speed, the driver applies a slightly more pressure. So first, these balls restrict the driver from applying too much force. So only the drums are brought together and they are now rotating at a same speed. Once this is achieved, the driver applies force to overcome the resistance by the spring loaded balls, and now the collar or the sleeve is slid into position. So now this connects, when this happens, this particular unit gets connected to the transmission shaft, and as seen in the constant mesh, the drive is being given to the that particular pair of mating gears to the transmission shaft. So the basic difference between the synchro mesh box and the constant mesh gearbox is that the constant mesh gearbox is that here everything is the same, but instead of the dog clutch, you have the synchro mesh unit. So in this lecture, we have discussed the working of synchro mesh unit and the synchro mesh gearbox and the constant mesh gearbox. Thank you.